Another beautiful day at Mother Base. The sun is shining, Zeke's railgun is humming.
And Zadornov got out again.
Great. Well, boss, back to it. We got monsters to kill and deterrents to facilitate.
Peace.
Alright, we're back.
That was a fast one.
It was a fast one. We've got
what do you want us to explain?
Yeah,
you
exactly.
killed a dragon, I guess.
Uh-huh.
It's a wyvern. It's not a dragon.
we've got a lot more script for later, so don't you worry, friends. There will be plenty of script to go along. As
I was expecting to be able to like send the Discord messages and stuff I usually do when you're doing your thing. I was like, oh wait, no, not enough time.
Oh, we'll have more. We'll have more. There will
You have
be
enough
plenty...
time while the whole game is loading.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Oh, whoops. Accidentally played a different thing that should be playing until later. Oops.
Whoopsies.
Yeah, we're back with Peace Walker.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna wrap that up pretty quickly, probably. I imagine it'll take us like maybe an hour, maybe like 2.
And then we might take a brief break while we figure out
reconfigure.
Oh, yeah,
yes,
I mean, I will need to change my setup. So,
yeah. If we do end up going offline for a moment, no, we'll be back soon.
I will probably stay up during the interlude.
I should be able to stay online, but we'll see.
No worry if not, because
yeah.
I mean, honestly, it'll probably be a cleaner setup if we split it between streams anyway. I'll just keep mine together just in case.
So, I've once again done some things off stream. Not as many as before the last stream, because I've gotten to the point where the missions are grindier and it's less fun.
Don't worry, it'll take like 50 hours before you hit that point in 5.
I would say even at that point, with how the gameplay is in 5, even the grindier missions aren't the worst. The worst is when you get towards the end of a mission, a main mission, fail, and realize there's not really a checkpoint during that mission.
Oh, you'll grow to hate the checkpoint system in 5. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
Great. Glad to hear it.
Oh, that's a thing I gotta put on the list, actually.
So we'll get to restart into 5 a little bit, but we've got the drinking game's gonna shift a little bit when we get there. We've got like the tried and trues, the permanent drinking rules, but we also have a Vol developed achievement system.
The final piece. So I've got like some new weapons and stuff. I also have sent Zeke out a few times, along with the others. Zeke is a little fragile, but hasn't taken more than like 40% damage on any mission so far. But absolutely destroys things. Zeke,
yeah, you
Zeke
kind of make building them out of scrap, you know.
Zeke annihilates the enemies in the outer ops.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did some stuff. At one point I got a message from Miller's like, Snake, Zadornov escaped again. Snake's like, great. And then it's like, Snakey escaped! It's like, uh-huh. It's like, Snakey's gone again! I was like, yeah, I know.
Ow.
Maybe we should stop doing this, was basically what the conversation was.
Yep. So, Snake, the question is, do you want to do Gear Rex first, or do you want to actually do the plot first?
Actually, do you want to check on the Eva logs first? See how many we have.
We've got like, it was like 4 more, right? I need to go into a mission to get to the logs anyway first.
Do 2 now, and then 2 after whatever the first mission is we do?
Sure.
Yeah, we can do Gear Rex.
Let's do Gear Rex. Zadornov can wait a little bit. I'm sure he won't go anywhere else.
Believe in yourself.
He seems fairly incompetent, so...
He's incredibly competent at escaping us, and then incredibly incompetent afterwards.
I was gonna say, he does hide just sort of looking at a wall.
It's almost like he's not actually the one getting himself out.
How could someone so stupid manage to escape so many times?
That's a great question. Hi, Chico. What do you gotta say about Gear Rex?
Have you heard the legend about the dinosaur that came back to life as a zombie and attacked people?
I'm sorry? Zombie?
The living dead?
Yeah,
that is a drink, by the way.
dinosaurs may be
That's a
extinct,
drink, all right.
but technically, it would be
Alright,
possible
you know
for
what?
one to come back
This is
to
gonna
life
be kind of
as
a fucking
zombie.
stream for me.
Not so
Right?
fast. Dinosaurs were real. Zombies, not so much.
What are you talking about, boss?
Haven't you played
Zombies have been
Resident
used
Evil?
as slaves on Haitian plantations for years. In Haiti, they've handed down a secret zombie powder for
For
generations.
years?
Really?
That's an
People from long
Argentinian.
ago must have used that
accent.
same stuff on dinosaur remains.
But dinosaurs had been extinct for millions of years before the first humans.
That hypothesis has to be wrong. In any case, this zombie was incredibly powerful. Its name was Gear Rex. They say nothing could kill it. Some say its bodily
Why is it
fluids would burn
capitalized
right
like
through
Dio?
your flesh. Then the spines that fell off his back
Okay,
would
I'm back.
impale you. The pain made even worse by the deafening roar rattling every bone
Oh,
in your
good.
body.
You sure it wasn't just some really strong monster? Who knows what kind of dinosaurs were out there? We could be talking about something strong enough to resist small arms fire.
Are you afraid of zombies, boss?
No, I just find the whole
No.
thing hard to
Definitely
believe.
not. Definitely not afraid.
Actually, wasn't there a comment on this in 3 that he didn't like zombie movies?
I don't
Oh,
remember.
maybe.
So,
Might have been.
this will be more relevant when we get to 5. But, I'm out of sane liquor.
Uh-oh.
So, we've started some production at Mother Base of accruing wormwood. So,
Oh, jeez.
The order came down.
we got a lot of absence.
Be
back
careful.
in Mother Base.
blamed for the sleeper's betrayal. More so, she'd serve as the guinea pig for NASA's manned spaceflight program. By then,
Christy's
NASA
saying,
had
oh,
gotten
don't
as
do
far as
it.
sending a chimp named Ham into
Oh my
space.
god.
Now came a whole battery of ground tests to pave the way for a human to take its place.
Cut this a little bit.
High G tests, zero G tests.
Yeah, definitely cut it with
space
something.
tests, simulations in pressurized oxygen environments. Some of the tests were highly dangerous. Too dangerous for the Mercury 7, who were by then already meeting
I just got
Darwin's.
my Moscow Mule, as usual. Although, I wasn't paying attention and put more vodka in this one than I
Argued her
intended
side
to.
of the story against the CIA.
And I had some sake earlier with the sushi bowls
The
we
way
made,
she
so...
saw it, her military experience made her a potentially
I might get
valuable
buzzed faster
asset
than
to
usual
both
tonight.
sides. She felt it was her
I'm currently
duty
operating on
to
1 glass of
accept.
rum. Though if the
soon proved
situation
herself
calls for it,
right.
I can pull out the Phantom
The
cigar.
boss was more than just a guinea pig. She drew on her experience to give the staff focused advice exactly where it was needed. NASA's space program took off again. At the rate they were going, putting a man in space seemed within reach. The higher-ups at NASA were impressed with her talents. They took to calling her the 8th astronaut, the Mercury Lady. The photo I sent you was taken around that time. I suppose maybe they were planning to use it as propaganda, the world's first female astronaut. But then, just as things were looking up, they hit a new snag. The government told them to add a window. There were no windows in NASA's spacecraft back then. Ham never saw the stars around him. But Washington insisted. Their sources told them Soviet spaceships had windows. Space exploration as a form of propaganda in itself. After all, what was the point of sending a man into space if he couldn't tell the world what he'd seen? Most of all, though, they simply couldn't have the Russians doing something they couldn't. It was sheer madness, and everybody knew it. NASA was already facing impossible deadlines. Now they were adding yet another element of uncertainty to the mix. Installing a window would both weaken the spacecraft and make it harder to shield the occupant from cosmic rays. They weren't about to put their Mercury 7 golden boys in that kind of danger. So the boss was chosen as the pilot instead. Even if she made it up into space, she was given less than a 20% chance of returning to Earth alive. But she took it in stride, even helping them make the necessary design changes to the Mercury capsule. It was like going to work every day at NASA to make her own coffin. Then, without warning, the US received intelligence that the Soviets had moved their Vostok spacecraft to the launch site. The launch was set for the following day, April 12th, 1961.
Yeah.
America couldn't let the Soviets beat them with Vostok. NASA was forced to cut short the testing process and move the launch date up. They pulled out all the stops to get it scheduled for the earliest hours of the next day. The spacecraft would be launched from Cape Canaveral in the dead of night. For the flight path, they chose a course that would take her as far east as possible. She'd be able to see the Earth in daylight from the window, at least for a little while. The boss climbed into the Mercury capsule, having completed less than 80% of the regular flight procedures. Both the timing and the flight path were risky, and testing was far from complete. But NASA had no other choice. The boss, for her part, never expected to come home alive. She was going on a one-way trip, the American version of Laika the dog. And yet she went all the same. Someone has to be first, she said. If fate has chosen me, then I accept, for my country, for the balance of the world. That's how she saw things. My chances may be slim, but I'll take them. I've accepted my fate. If anyone can get through this, I can. Then, on April 12th at 1:30 in the morning, the boss entered space. It was nothing short of a miracle. First, that she'd made it in an incomplete spacecraft. And second, that her flight coincided almost exactly with Gagarin's. As the sun rose over the horizon, and cosmic rays began to bombard her through the window, she saw the Earth. I think you've heard the story before. It was a world without borders, a perfect jewel. All nations, all ideologies. They seemed so far away. It almost made her laugh, knowing that they'd risked so much to beat the Soviets by a few short minutes. If she'd seen Vostok from her window, she probably would have waved. But the two spacecraft were destined for very different fates. Gagarin circled the Earth and returned to the Soviet Union, safe and sound. The Mercury capsule, on the other hand, deviated from its planned re-entry angle. The addition of a window had thrown the capsule's aerodynamics off balance. The boss's coffin veered wildly off course and began to plunge earthward.
What happened? Did she die?
I mean, yes, eventually.
Find out next time on Metal Gear Z. Cut. Also, well, yeah, this was Cecile recommended this.
Alright, I can't. Alright.
After we started getting all that wormwood for extra hallucinogenic research, she suggested turning some into absinthe, but...
Oh yeah, I have a rank 3 law now, so...
I would never trust a French woman with alcohol.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Wonder if the chaff grenade would do anything to Gear Rex.
Gonna guess no.
I mean, yeah,
not actually a robot.
probably not. Probably.
No, it's a zombie dinosaur.
You never know.
Didn't you hear Chico?
I could bring some claymores.
Seriously, boss. We're trying to give you info here.
Yeah, okay. Sure. Just a zombie dinosaur, whatever.
It's zombies, and it's Monster Hunter. What could be more on brand for you?
Exactly.
That's true.
It's about time. Let's go, Trenya.
Let's go, Trenya.
Why is he so rude?
It's about time, you stupid cat.
Pat just says, "You're the one always keeping people waiting."
I'm sure Big Boss thinks he's like, there's some part of his brain that's like, this is an ayahuasca trip or something. I can be as rude to the cat as I want.
Oh, no, right. So, boss, we might have been slipping some of this wormwood into your coffee in the morning to test it.
What?
There's a non-zero chance that this is absolutely hallucinogenic result of absinthe.
Oh.
You come back and he's just lying on the beach firing a machine gun into the sky.
Steel-fanged king. That's like fucking... It's like somewhere between Glavinus and the Zerg.
Blurred, if you will.
Shut up, Miller! What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Oh, right, it's got Rex weapons.
It's got a piss beam!
I guess in a way, this is kind of like your rematch with Rex.
That fucking Velociraptor almost took up this.
Why does it have like a side tail that shoots out blood?
Is it blood or is it an actual laser?
I mean, it's red. I don't know. I'm just assuming it's blood or something.
I mean, by Monster Hunter standards, that like crepuscule on the like near the base of the tail has to be where that comes from, right?
Yeah. That's some kind of sack where it...
Every monster can like breathe fire or water or lightning, whatever. It just has to have the proper sack.
Correct.
I mean,
That is true.
Yeah, that's how Monster Hunter tends to work. The only ones that get to ignore that ever are the Elder Dragons.
They can be magic. Just a little magic, though.
That's a treat. Ugh. What the hell? What the hell was that sound? Ah! Ugh.
I was gonna say the Velociprays actually seem a little vicious right now.
Yeah, no, the Velociprey are a bit of a problem.
I feel like they weren't fucking with you as much on the other fights.
Oh. Those... I see. That's some Najarala shit right there. Oh my god!
I love his little stompy dance. Honestly, so far, it doesn't seem as bad as T-Rex was,
Now,
Yeah.
granted, it may have a second phase.
Maybe. Ah, shit, the back. What? Oh!
though. Oh! The blood laser.
Get away from me. Oh, no! Huh?
About to say, boss.
That staggered it, okay.
They've okayed your request for a cardboard box. It'll be sent out shortly.
Whoop. What's happening?
So, Vol, I just sent you a message about the context of the situation. You can give me an agree or disagree.
I would think so, yeah.
Yep, I thought that made sense.
Are you tired, Rex?
Not tired enough to not do his stompy dance.
What?
Whoa! Whoa!
Aerial Mine. Why'd it give me Aerial Mine? Ah! Maybe Aerial Mine would be more useful than the Claymores, actually, come to think of it.
I mean, it's probably tall enough to run.
Ah!
Well,
It's
those
probably-
moves he has.
Tall enough to run into him, and that way you don't run into your own claymores.
Yeah.
It seems like you don't want to be close to him because he has 2 close range moves that are hard to dodge.
Oh!
I wasn't trying to be close to him, except that's where the butt. Oh hey, I have lost a prey. Let me reload.
Gotta reload that Carl.
No, it's the law. I don't have the Carl right now.
Oh, did you not bring the Carl?
No, because the law is rank 3. The Carl's only rank 2.
I was gonna say, I recall the Carl taking longer to reload.
Yeah, that too.
Carl has always been a slow boy.
Go up! Oh my god!
Whoa!
What?
Oh, he fell.
Ah, you can stun him.
I think he just fell on it. I'm not sure what happened there.
I think if he does the charge attack into a wall, I think it's
Yeah, that might. Maybe that's what it is.
I mean, you can bait the stun.
Oh,
Ah!
oh no!
I love the stompy dance.
I'm so glad he did the stompy and not the tailspin. 'Cause
Yeah.
That would have
Oh yeah. Ah!
Oh yeah, look at that.
Oh, he gets his horn stuck in it.
Oh, that was even better. Yeah, he chomped on it like a T-Rex does. Oh wait, yeah, maybe T-Rex probably would have been a lot easier if I, because T-Rex probably does that too.
Baited him into the wall.
Yeah. I broke something.
Ah, you got this. Again, it looks like you're having an easier time with this one than T-Rex.
Yeah.
Just a zombie dinosaur. Warm up.
Oh yeah, you think that thing on its side is meant to be like some kind of zombie infection then, or is that just how it is?
I think it's the sack where the lasers are made.
They've located request for support.
Well, obviously that, yeah.
Cardboard box as we speak.
I mean, the reality of the Monster Hunter-ness of it is it's probably some form of like pressurized beam of like probably blood. Blood's probably active.
Okay, but if you're going by MGS 5 logic, this could very well be some sort of parasite.
Parasite? Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you can knock him out of the charge.
Well, yeah, well, so enough damage, at certain damage thresholds, he'll stagger. That's a very Monster Hunter thing, and I just happened to get it during the charge there.
Ah, so that could have not worked.
Yes.
In favor. I'm glad it did.
Oh, it's almost down, boss.
Be aggressive.
Got this,
weird.
boss. Now they definitely missed out on the opportunity to do like a Metal or like a Monster Hunter style arrangement of the Metal Gear theme for this fight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Easy peasy. That was pretty fun.
Target is down.
It's a fun fight.
I'm not gonna complain too much just because I'm impressed by how much bullshit they crammed into this game.
Yeah.
Good job, boss. Now let's listen to those last two Eva tapes and go capture our escape doorknob.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you're coming down off your vision quest.
Yep.
No,
What did it tell you, boss?
What do you mean, what did it tell me? I just fought a giant monster.
You mentioned something about a cat.
Yeah, train ya.
I like to think this is just like in Bull's office that we've been doing this testing. Bull sitting there in a lab coat. The boss stretched out on a fucking like couch.
I was gonna say it's definitely one of those therapy couches, and we're just like, all right, I have the clipboard. So, what did the cat say to you?
You're fired.
Well, he just kind of meowed at me, but but I was able to understand the intentions.
So, was it a dinosaur or a zombie?
Well, it was at least a dinosaur.
And it shot lasers.
Yeah, looked like blood. Not really sure.
How can you not be sure if something is blood or lasers?
It's hard. It was hard to tell in the moment.
Should I just write off all of these munitions as gone missing in shipment?
Do I need to go to this mission now? Or wait, I have a search mission 6.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the one.
Oh, okay.
Well, you'll go back to that place on the
You have to
map.
find him.
Ah, I see. Got it. I misunderstood when you were telling me about it before then.
Be right back.
Last 2 Evas.
Mm-hmm.
The course deviation caused the capsule to miss its splashdown point by a wide margin. It didn't have enough time to decelerate before crashing into the sea. The force of the impact shattered the spacecraft before it started to sink like a stone. The boss used the last of her strength to escape to the surface. Her body was covered in bruises and scorched by radiation. It was a miracle she was still alive. She slipped into a coma and didn't regain consciousness for 6 months. To some, what was worst of all was that she had lost the space race to Gagarin by only a few minutes. That aside, it should have been a proud day for America. Its first manned spaceflight. Sadly, her accomplishment was kept out of the history books. An attempt to save face by Washington. In contrast to Gagarin's orbital flight, America had only managed a ballistic trajectory. Her flight time was much shorter, too. And most importantly, the Soviets had brought back both spacecraft and pilot safely. NASA couldn't even conjure up a half-hearted tale of heroic survival. The coup de grace, though, was the Soviet propaganda campaign that kicked into gear after the flight. The Earth was blue. Those were the words of Gagarin on his return, and the whole world was listening. In the blink of an eye, Gagarin was an international celebrity, earning accolades from every corner. It was a PR coup for the Soviet Union. Meanwhile, Washington could only grit its teeth in silence. They decided there was no value in making the boss's flight public, that it would only make matters worse. So they buried it instead, labeling it a dark mission. NASA and the CIA did everything in their power to erase all traces of the boss from Project Mercury. The result was the photo you see before you. Not a bad job, huh? Not only did they expunge her flight from the records, they denied that she ever existed. And that wasn't the end of it. As an alibi, the military claimed she'd taken part in the CIA's botched Bay of Pigs plot to take back Cuba. And when the boss was finally well enough to return to service, they wouldn't take her back. She was forced to go underground. In the public eye, the boss was still a hero of World War II. In reality, though, she was anything but that. She was a non-person, fit only for the blackest of black ops. In effect, she may as well have been dead. Gagarin went on a worldwide tour in front of millions of adoring fans. The boss, meanwhile, was a walking secret, unable to breathe a word about her experience. The authorities in Washington had this to say: "Why are you still here? If only you'd had the decency to give us a nice quote like Gagarin and then die an honorable death, you'd have gone down as a hero." 3 weeks later, on May 5th, Alan Shepard, one of the Mercury 7, made his own ballistic flight. They sure didn't try to cover up his achievement. Of course, he owed his success to the lessons learned from the boss's tragedy. Before sending Gagarin up into space, the Soviets had used a mannequin called Ivan Ivanovich to test the landing procedure, which would make the boss America's version of a crash test dummy. But she didn't care. "I'm happy to be the dummy," she said, "if it'll help the project succeed. Nothing would give me greater satisfaction." And that still wasn't the end of it. The boss had worked through the anti-Moscow faction of the Soviet Union's philosophers to place the sleeper agent, and at some point, the Soviets found out about it. Yet the Americans remained oblivious to the end. Even the philosopher network the boss plugged into never tipped them off to the double cross. That could only mean one of two things. Either the pro-Moscow philosophers had intervened, or the anti-Moscow philosophers had been turned. Either way, it was a situation their American counterparts couldn't stand. To preserve the philosopher's good name, and to repay her debt, so to speak, the boss once again made her way into the Soviet Union. There, she found herself face to face with the Soviets' own agent.
Who was it?
And who should she find awaiting her return to Russia? The one who'd turned her sleeper against her. Who'd fed them lies all this time. It was her former comrade in arms. The father of her child. The man known as the Sorrow. He didn't know it was the boss who'd sent the sleeper. Or to be more precise, the Soviet philosophers never told him. Former lovers. Forced to fight. To the death. One would live and one would die, she told me. That was the revenge the Soviet philosophers had in store for me. If both of them survived, their child would suffer in their place. They were left with no other option. The boss shot him. He offered no resistance. When she returned from the Soviet Union, there was no place left for her to go. She'd sacrificed everything. Everything. For her country. And in return, they treated her like a dead woman. She was made a scapegoat for no good reason. Only because power had changed hands in Washington. Any lesser being